morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. As many of you are aware, there has been significant developments on the Portuguese nationality law. We understand these changes have raised questions, concerns among the investors, particularly with respect to the timeline for obtaining the Portuguese citizenship and the implications on keeping the underlying investment. So today's session is intended to provide clarity and practical guidance with particular focus on specific circumstances of nest investors. Today, I'm joined with Dixcart law firm, Sarah and Katarina, which most of our nest investors are represented by, especially for completing the investment and golden visa and citizenship application. So we thought it is necessary to have you joining us today to give more clarity, because we are aware as Optilon Korea, the investment provider, that this investment has been done for first golden visa, then the citizenship. So it is really important. And you know that we are trying to keep our investors as informed as possible. It hasn't been easy for none of us. And I found particularly nest investors lucky that they have, most of them have completed the citizenship application before the law change. Today I'm also joined by our asset management team, Diogo Investor Relations, and probably Vincent will join as well at some point, our Chief Investment Officer. And Links Fund Managers are here as well. So basically what we will cover, and actually I'm sure you have received a legal opinion email from different law firms for all of these changes and implications for the investors who are in the different timelines. We will not go in deeper to that. We are very much focused on nest investors, and we know that most of our nest investors, because they have invested in 2021 or before, most of them completed their citizenship application thanks to the timeline starting from the date of application. But this has changed, as we know. So I will speak about what we will cover today. So basically, I will start with the legal part, Sarah and Katarina. So I will be asking the current expected timeline between submitting a citizenship application and obtaining the citizenship, holding the passport, let's say. Then the requirement and obligations while awaiting for the citizenship. Then different residency options available, including permanent residency and why it is important, why it's a different route. Also timeline about the cost associated and obligations for these processes. And lastly, after having a clarity on this, I will go back to my colleagues in the asset management and investment part, how all of these impacts the proposed extension of the fund's duration. So our objective today is not to speculate anything, but provide a clear understanding and the current options, so we can inform you before you give your decisions, because you know there will be a pool and everything about the duration of the fund. So I would like to start by thanking everyone spending the time with us today. And I will be also, while covering these things, I will also check the Q&A to be able to cover as much as related questions as well. So Diogo, would you like to share the presentation? And while we are speaking, you can shift to the related slides.
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay, so let's start with the timeline. So, Sarah, what is, we have a lot of common investors also from the property buyers before we had the funds. And you have submitted a lot of citizenship. And what is the current timeline, best and worst case scenario for receiving the citizenship at the moment? How long does it take?
Yes. So best and worst scenario are the same. It's 4 years.
Okay,
It's
this is
currently in 4 years.
4 years.
So we are receiving decisions of applications submitted in 2022, which means the 4 years, and it can increase. So the worst case scenario, it can be more than 4 years. Why? Because between the end of last year and until May 19, the increase of applications submitted, it has increased a lot because of the change of the law, which means that we can expect to be more than 4 years. But currently, the timeline is 4 years.
Uh, do you know any, or is there any rumors that they will expedite these things, hire people, or nothing on this side? Because as far as I know, this is not IMA, right? This
No,
is
it's
a,
not IMA.
yeah.
Yes, this is the register office, the central register office. And as you know, all applications are now submitted online. I believe that the government, and it's not a rumor, it's in fact what they want to do, like they did with IMA. They want to hire more staff, and they are trying to speed applications, putting everything digitally, which means that once you submit a criminal record, A2 certificate, it's in the system. Before they had all, it was a long time for them to scan the paper that we sent to the register office. So they want to speed the analysis of the applications, but as everything, it takes time for them to get to a point that the application is processed faster than it is now.
Okay. And you submit online and it goes to a certain register. You said registry office
Yes, yes. So
that you
basically,
cannot select, or can you?
no, we cannot select. That was before
Yes,
December 23 when we submitted in paper. But after December 23, everything became digitally and we can only submit online, which means that all citizenships by Article 6, that is residency, the golden visa investors that we have, goes to the central registry in Porto, not in Lisbon.
Okay. So this is specific on that.
I would like
Yes,
just to add one thing, which is, I think it's important, which is even if the ones that are being reviewed now that we submitted back in 2023, we submitted in paper and we sent to Evra. The reality is that even these are being reallocated to Lisbon. So even the ones we submitted online can be redistributed.
correct.
So there's no these processes can be redistributed within, the
Yes.
various offices that exist in Portugal.
If Porto has a lot of applications that don't have enough staff to process everything, what they can do is ask for help for other register office who can help them. That is what's happening to the ones that we submitted in Évora. They are being reallocated to Lisbon.
Okay. Okay, that was clear. So, in practical terms, most of Nest investors applied in 25 and 26, I guess.
Yes,
So it means that we are looking for getting the citizenship in 29 and 30, potentially with the current situation,
yes,
right? We can we can
correct.
we can say that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Then what are the obligations during that waiting time period?
Okay. So, our opinion that you shared with all the investors here present, our opinion is that the investor needs to keep the investment, needs to keep a legal residency in Portugal
Yes.
until the citizenship process is decided and completed. So, yes,
In practical
yes,
terms, do they ask for your current valid residency number or anything? So while they
yeah.
are evaluating or giving you the citizenship.
In practical terms, when you submit an application online, you need to put your current residency permit number and the validity. And during that waiting time, they can ask for additional documents. One of the documents that the register office can ask after 2 years of the process being submitted is a valid residency in Portugal.
Okay. And usually they take the file, obviously, 2, 3 years later, thanks to the
Yes,
timeline. So that's when you say probably that the first validity that is submitted, which should be 2 years, I guess,
yes,
maximum 2 years, may not be enough when they ask for it.
correct.
Okay. So it means that there should be a valid residency during the waiting timeline.
Correct. This is our opinion. It's not, and I just want to say, this is not in the law. It's not mandatory by law to comply with this, but the law doesn't say yes or no. So the law doesn't say anything. So that is why we strongly recommend having a legal residency until the process is completed, basically.
Okay, great, Diogo. You put the right one. I think this is also important that we have asked this four law firms is about this question, and they are fully aligned, as you see. Even it's written or not, as you were saying, the expectation is to have a valid residency during the waiting period for the citizenship. So this is quite clear, I guess, and this is everyone, all the law firms are legally fully aligned because for everyone it's the priority. If not the passport, if the residency, it can be different, of course, but if the idea is to hold the citizenship, this is an important point to consider, let's say. Then I will pass to my next question. What are the options of residency that we can speak about? Because just to give a context, we had it's not an open-ended fund. So normally we have already extended, and Nest fund duration currently is till June 27. So in a 1 year time, exactly. And that's why we need to understand, because people, of course, when doing the investment, they want to know when they can exit and all that. It has changed. So that's why we are trying to understand when and if they can liquidate, meaning exit the fund while waiting for the citizenship, and what should they be doing? What are the other residency types that they can follow rather than golden visa one?
Okay, so basically, while waiting for citizenship, and if they want to exit the fund, there's only one rule: is the golden visa. Only one route is the golden visa permanent residency. This golden visa permanent residency is a card like the normal golden visa that I have, but it's a card valid for 5 years. With the same minimum stay requirements as the golden visa. It's 7 days per year, 14 days every 2 years. Which means that it's a possibility. The investors don't have to maintain the investment, and they will have a card. If they already applied for citizenship, they will have a card valid until they are waiting for a decision. So this is the only route for our golden visa clients.
The second option, rather than keeping the investment and renewing it. Just to
Exactly.
remind, golden visa is the residency that you get from the investment that you have done. And I think it's currently 2 years duration each time. And
Correct.
as you have done previously, you have to show you are keeping your investment and you came the minimum required time to renew it. And as long as you keep the investment, you can renew the golden visa.
Yes, correct.
But permanent residency is what are the conditions to get the permanent residency?
Okay.
And if someone applied for citizenship or having a valid residency card, if they can apply for permanent residency.
Yes. So basically, for permanent residency, the conditions are the same as the golden visa except the investment. Plus, you need to have two specific conditions that are different. One of those is that you need to have accommodation in Portugal for that. And the other one is that you need to have means of subsistence. This is shown by bank statements confirming that the investor has funds in the bank account. But I believe that the one that is more different is that the investor needs to show accommodation in Portugal. The rest of the requirements are basically the same as a normal golden visa. Needs to have a valid passport, clean criminal record, the A2 certificate like the one that's required for citizenship, and that's it.
Okay, and how long does it take to receive it?
That's the thing. We don't know. So, permanent residency in Portugal, it's a valid route. It's available, but IMA, and from the information that we got, IMA doesn't have many permanent residency applications for golden visa for people who are not actually residing in Portugal. This means that by law and from what we believe, it should be the same as a normal golden visa. And currently, the golden visas, as you know, are taking some months to be issued.
Okay, so we don't have full clarity
No,
on
we
that.
don't. We don't. We had Catarina, she's in Madeira, as the majority of you know, and she had appointment with an IMA coordinator about this specific situation. And Eva IMA, they don't know the full picture of the golden visa permanent residency.
But have you done this for your golden visa investors previously?
Yes, we did. We did. Catarina submitted at the Madeira office, and the process was very straightforward. We had an appointment. Catarina went there with the client because it's mandatory for the investor to be present. It's not like the online renewals that we have now, and the process went smoothly.
Okay. And how much does it cost? Because I think it's more costly.
Yes,
Right?
it is. It is a little more. So, the permanent golden visa, this one that doesn't require the investor to reside in Portugal, it costs around 9,000 euros
Per
per
applicant.
applicant. Correct, per applicant.
And this needs to be renewed each 5 years, or
Correct.
hoping that the passport is arrived with only one, I guess, right?
Yes, so I believe that for the majority of the investors that we have here today, if they apply once, and while they are waiting for citizenship, their citizenship application will be decided in the meantime. So this will be a one card thing.
Okay. But I would like to underline once more.
Hello, Shafak, I think. Shafak is
Shafak
frozen.
froze. Yes.
Yeah, I think we're having some technical difficulties. Let me see if we can get Shafak back.
Sarah, maybe you can just check the Q&A and address some of the questions while we're waiting.
Let me see.
So we have a question from Erdem Kaya regarding saying that there are conflicting
Legal opinions. Yes.
Exactly. Maybe you can address this.
Yes, so basically, there are and there will be conflicting legal opinions on this because the law is not clear. The procedures adopted by IMA are not clear as well. So we have our own understanding. We know that there are other law firms who have their own understanding of this situation. So in our opinion, and it is our recommendation that all clients, they need to maintain a legal residency in Portugal until the citizenship is approved. We don't know once we submit the application, imagine an example. We submit an application in 2026. Considering this timeline of 4 years, it will start to be analyzed in 2028, if that's a good case scenario, which means that in 2028, there's a chance that the register office asks for a valid residency permit in Portugal. And if you don't maintain the investment, or if you don't have another legal residency option, this means that you cannot deliver this document to the register office and your application will be rejected. So to not take this risk, we recommend to have a legal residency card in Portugal until it's approved.
So I think now we could go to the last question that was made by Stephen, just because it's in line with what we were just discussing. And maybe to just clarify, Stephen, that the permanent residency under the Golden Visa is a special permanent residency that will be issued for 5 years, will cost around 9,000 euros per applicant. It doesn't require physical presence in Portugal. It does require to have accommodation, so you will need to have rental or something in Portugal that you can show the immigration authorities that you have some sort of housing arrangement, but you actually have no stay requirements.
Yes, it's the same as the Golden Visa. It's 7 days per year or 14 days every 2 years. Yes. Just want to clarify one thing about the permanent residency, because I see here that we have attendees that are actually residing in Portugal. This means that if the investor is residing in Portugal, instead of applying for this Golden Visa permanent residency, they can apply for a normal permanent residency, and the cost will be around 200 euros. So, but we'll have the minimum stay requirements in Portugal. But if the investor is already residing in the country, then I think it's a better option than applying for this expensive one. Hi, Shafak.
Thanks for taking over. It's an exciting webinar. Anything can happen. I lost the connection. I'm connecting from my phone, so let's see how long it will go. But I was just highlighting. I want to mention that they can apply for PR after having the card for 5 years.
Correct. So the timeline for permanent residency is 5 years from the date of the first card. So if an investor has a card since 2022, he can apply in 2027.
Exactly. It's because this is the majority. That we had investors investing during COVID and everything, but most of them started receiving their cards in hand in 22 or later, which means that you have to top it to 5 years to 27. And thanks for your Excel, because we have seen very visible that for next investors who are represented by you, I didn't see anyone before 27, frankly speaking.
There are some cases, but it's very few cases. Yes.
Okay, I think this is important. So now I want to slowly pass to the extension and how we do because there is obviously necessary extension, and how the process will be taken care on with the General Assembly, how the process will happen for the extensions. What is the current status, what we will do, and then how it will be extended, and how people can leave the fund as well, or what we need as a minimum. So Diogo, if you can enlighten us on that, that would be lovely.
Hi. So as we said, the current fund maturity is in June 2027. As with the current processes, most of our investors are not going to have their process concluded. So we are proposing a fund extension to make sure that all the participants can have access to the permanent residency and Golden Visa. So we will either do a 1-year extension or a 2-year extension, and this period will be determined based on investors' feedback. So we'll later be sharing a survey with all of you to try to assess how much of an extension each investor requires, and then we will be calling an extraordinary general assembly um, around midsummer or by the end of the summer to vote on this extension based on the feedback we got from everyone. So when this extension
Is there a minimum requirement as a percentage to make the extension?
So the extension is only approved if there is a majority vote approving the extension, and it's a majority of the people who vote. So if there's an abstention, if there are people that don't join the General Assembly, it's the
They are not
majority of,
included.
yeah, exactly. So if the vote is approved, the fund will be extended. And what if the vote is voted against? There will not be an extension, and at that time we'll have to analyze our possibilities to make sure to get every investor their status. So if your question now is, I completed my process earlier, I don't want to extend the fund, what happens? So the participants who vote against the extension will be allowed to exit the fund at the current fund extension. So let's say the extension is approved with a 70% approval, right? The 30% of investors that voted against will be allowed to exit the fund in the current date, and that exit will be at the fund NAV at the time of the exit, the net asset value of the fund at the exit. And we asset managers will be liquidating some of our assets to support the exits of these participants. But we make sure that this has no negative impacts on any participants leaving earlier or on any participants that remain on the fund.
Okay, and this could continue like this because
Exactly.
I see some questions. Of course, I mean, we are saying it's 4 years, but hoping that it will be reduced. So I think that's the main reason we don't go for an extension of 3 or 4 years right away.
Exactly.
Because this can stress people and we don't foresee, and usually the investors are looking for liquidity. That's why we will vote for 1 or 2 years. In my opinion, 2 years will be accepted, but from my perspective, it's totally from the numbers I've seen, and there are some investors who wants to exit already for the passport application. So that's how we will do, and we will work on the liquidating some assets for us to be able to exit the investors as we have done this year, right?
Exactly. So this year, 5 participants are already exiting the fund. We liquidated one of our retail shops to facilitate that, and we know that we have a few investors that want to exit at the current term, and we have already assessed some appetite for our assets, the fund's assets, and those would be enough to facilitate the exits of additional participants.
Okay, and we could do it again when we are reaching to the end of the extension. We can do the same way to go for
So
even longer.
let's say we extend the fund for 2 years with a new exit in June 2029. If by that time we will do a similar webinar and similar surveys to our investors to see how each process is for each of them. And if there's a necessity to do extra fund extensions, we'll do the same process as now, calling an extraordinary general assembly to vote on another extension, be it 1 year or 2 years, depending on the needs of the majority of investors.
Okay, so I will go for the Q&A if you don't have anything else to add. But I will start with the last question because Diogo, we were speaking about the investment, but it's a question for actually legal. If the fund is not extended, but we will be extending it, just to say, how if, let's assume at some point we don't extend, but our intention is to extend and everybody is looking for it. So I think there is no problem. But hypothetically, if the fund is closing for someone who has invested 350 in this fund, how can they fulfill the investment requirement as of today if they are exiting the fund or if the fund duration is finished? Meaning, do they need to invest 500,000 euro to eligible fund as of the exit the same day or not? What would be the condition?
For the golden visa?
Yes.
Okay, to keep renewing the golden visa. So
yes.
if they want to exit this fund, but
Yes.
they want to maintain the temporary card, the golden visa that they have at the moment, they need to invest into another fund. And at this time, it will be 500,000. And this would mean that they need to, it's like starting the process all over again. Because they need to send the funds back to their country and then do an international transfer again, so they can.
Or they have to do a separate one, not to stay uninvested at any point.
Exactly.
I guess this is more secure to take the money out, or just to make sure they have invested 350, so they have another funds of 500. They invest through the sending
Correct.
Portugal and eligible fund
Yes.
that on the
Yes.
market, and we have as well, and then exit the.
Correct. If they want to play safe, they would do like that. If they want to use the funds that they have in the fund, then they need to take it out of the country and then transfer again.
Okay, this is clear. Daryl, you are.
Let me just
Yes.
quickly jump in. We are getting many questions via text, but just to let you know that you can also express yourself and put any questions to us via voice. You just need to raise your digital hand, your virtual hand, and we'll unlock your microphone so you can speak. Sorry, go on.
Okay. Can I ask for, they are asking for specific dates. I believe it's for the fund duration. I will start with, as of today, the fund duration is 27 June, so 1 year from now. So when we will propose for extension, we will ask if people wants 1 year or 2 years. And then according to that, it will be 1 or 2 years on top of June 27, which means 28 or 29. Is it more clear, Daryl?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So the official date of the closure of the fund, I understand, was supposed to be 28. Am I right?
Sorry,
No,
you're
27
asking
at the
about
moment.
The official date, the fund had a validity to continue until 28.
No, the current fund.
2028.
No.
Okay, the current fund term is June 2027. There is one additional extension in the current management regulation for one more year, and that would be until June 2028. But it was given these proposed extensions. If we want to extend more, for example, 2 years, we need extraordinary general assemblies to change the management regulation to get an additional a longer fund term. But the 2028 date you're referring to is not the fund term, is the fund term plus extensions that were determined in the current management regulation.
So I would like to continue further. What you are saying is that if the term extends further, and if somebody achieves his goal and exits the fund, then he will not stand to benefit from the benefits that accrue to him on the cessation of the fund. Is that right?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
What I'm saying is, the date of the fund was supposed to have been 28. And if someone has achieved their goals by 28 and wants to exit the fund, then what happens is, and if the fund is extended further to 29, those who exit in 28 will not stand to benefit from the benefits that would accrue to him on the cessation of the fund.
You
No,
mean
no, no.
you mean it will be the NAV? I think we should explain
Exactly.
briefly.
Exactly.
Then we will pass to other questions, though.
Yeah. Just to clarify, the exits at any given time are based on the NAV, be it in 2028, 2029. The fund's exits will be based on NAV and will have all the same conditions. So, but if you exit in 2028, you will not have the returns in regards to 2029. But because the fund of the way the fund works, there's no penalization for leaving earlier or later. You'll just have the benefits of the fund for each year, and you'll have your returns.
Exactly. So that means that people who exit earlier, in case the fund is extended, will tend to lose the benefits of the cessation of the fund. Am I right?
I mean,
In
not the
the-
whole portfolio, of
Yeah,
course. To have the
exactly.
liquidity, we have to sell something, and it will be from that moment. If
Exactly.
we
But
have right till the end, if the
yeah,
assets
there's
we
no
sell it
loss
better
of
on the later term.
yeah, there's no
Yeah,
loss of
sorry.
value from leaving earlier because the exits are based on net asset value, and net asset value takes into account the rents collected. Obviously, it takes into account the interests accruing at each investment, and it takes into account the valuation of the underlying assets of the fund. And because that is growing, you every year you independently when you exit, you'll have the gains from your investment. So let's say the fund has a 4% annualized return year by year. If you exit in 2028, you'll have an annualized return of 4%. I'm just saying, I'm not compromising myself with any figures. I'm just throwing them out there for example purposes. But you'll have a 4%, and if you exit in 2029, it will be 4% as well, given the NAV and the annualized return of the fund. There will be no loss from leaving earlier.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I will keep on reading because to be faster, I prefer that we do. I read because there are naturally follow-up questions, but to cover everything, let's keep the Q&A active, please. Ruslan is asking how many investors still having PR and how many with PR. Actually, we will know. We are doing this webinar to speak about this, and we will have a poll. We will have you actually, not we. you will receive, all the participants will receive an email from Links, our fund manager, and there will be the poll for requesting extension and everything. So we know specifically Dix card clients, but there are clients with different law firm, Legal Square, CRS, and all. We don't have the full information, but we will let every investor to do this. But I can say that I don't believe we have anyone with the permanent residency. Sarah?
No.
In Nest
Currently
Fund, we
there's
don't.
yes, currently there's no one with the PR.
Yeah, so I mean, that will be extended for sure, the fund. And in my view, it will be 2 years. So for Sandeep's last question, you will receive an email from Links that you will do the poll, and then later on there will be the general assembly. So if you want to exit, you need to participate this general assembly, which will be probably in August. Am I right, Diogo? Because we need to inform about the extraordinary general assembly, and I think wait for 20 days. So it will be in August or beginning of September, I believe, that you should participate and you should vote against it for you to be able to exit in June 27. Did I say correct?
Yes, exactly. We are targeting early August, but because some of these things are unpredictable, that it might be delayed by a few days. But it will be early August. Regardless, if you have any commitment that makes it impossible for you to attend, but you still want to vote because you want an early exit, there are ways to be arranged where you can delegate your wish to vote, and you have a representative, for example, Optilon Creia, voting for you and expressing your intention to exit the fund, to make sure you do exit when you do want to. Yeah.
So I'm trying to move faster. If we exit the fund in June 27, we can still apply for permanent residency, PR card, and citizenship at the same time. No, this is for sure. If you haven't applied, and we have to maintain an address for 5 years as well to fulfill conditions 7 days per year. I think it is misunderstanding because at the moment, if you want to apply for citizenship, it's 10 years after your first card.
Correct.
So for permanent residency, if you are holding your residency card for 5 years, at the moment of its reach 5 years, you can apply for PR regardless of your investment. Am I right, Sarah?
Correct. So it's 5 years from the initial card, you can apply for PR, and 10 years from the initial card, you can apply for citizenship.
Okay. But one more, probably I asked, but I will re-ask again. If I have 1 year to complete my duration, can I still apply for PR, or I need to wait
You need to
till the
wait.
validity is ending? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How many investors started their passport application process or have received their passport? There is none received the passport because, as we said, it's 4 years at the moment. And we don't have direct, all the numbers, but the majority, I would say more than 70-80%, should have applied.
Yes.
Sorry, Shafak, just to jump in, and
Yes.
the fact that none of them have received a passport is not a problem. So we filed many citizenship applications, and the ones that we filed, 2022, clients have been receiving their passports. It's just the delays. Okay.
But since Nest investors, they have been eligibility to apply for citizenship only in 25 and 26.
Correct.
Yes.
No, that's correct.
why.
I just didn't want anyone to misunderstand that there could be an issue.
No. It's only the Nest investors. I can vouch that nobody received the passport. That's what I meant. But thanks for the indication. okay, for the rental property, basically they just need to show an address.
Correct.
So it can be in the middle of Portugal, somewhere, the cheapest thing, right? Because
Correct.
everybody's,
Yes. I don't think the accommodation will be a problem for the PR.
Okay. And what about we have questions about the family, because most of these investors has done it for their kids. And the kids are reaching 30 years old with all of these. So what should be the route, the best option for
Yes.
them?
So permanent residency is like citizenship, is an independent application per each member of the family. This means that the investor stops being the investor and is an applicant like the rest of the family. This means that the spouse, the children, they must apply for permanent residency as well. So they must fulfill the requirements as well, such as the A2 certificate.
Okay, so everybody should apply
Yes,
for
everybody
permanent
should apply.
residency. And do you have any recommendation for the kids finalizing the schools and everything during golden visa process? Because when they are doing the PR, they don't need to show dependency,
Yes,
right?
correct.
So what you propose, what you advise is for the kids to maintain the dependency as much as possible till they apply for PR.
Correct. So they need to maintain the dependency as much as possible. Then, once they reach the 5 years and it's possible to apply for a PR. For the children, what we always recommend is either if they are between 12 and 16 to do the course as well, because they will get a certificate. If they are under 12 years old, at least to be enrolled in Portuguese classes to at least know the language, because if they are enrolled in Portuguese classes, they will have a certificate that can be valid as well for permanent residency.
Okay. I will answer some questions by typing. In the meanwhile, Katarina, I think you will wanted to reply to one for Erdem, I think.
I've replied to a few
Yes.
in writing, yeah.
Okay. About the permanent residency, what is the EU long-term residence status based on EU directive? It's very specific. Do you see this question, Katarina?
Let me see. The EU long-term residency,
Yes.
based on the directive that provides additional rights, how can we apply for this status? This EU long-term residency means that you need to be a 5-year resident in another EU country, not in Portugal, to have this status. So, for example, if we have a Turkish client who have resided in France for 5 years, then he could come to Portugal and apply for this. So this is very specific.
Okay. Do you see any other questions that you want to answer, Sarah? There are some are quite specific, so I write
Yes.
some of them.
What is definition of valid residency from Stephen? Valid residency is that you have either a temporary residency card or a permanent residency card in Portugal, and that the card is valid. It didn't expire yet.
Okay. So the last question, 70 and 80% seems very high as passport applicants. I have invested in 2020 and applied for golden visa in 21 and received the first residency card in 23. Can the timeline be? So
Yes.
basically you are, if you applied for GV in 21, you were able to apply for citizenship in 26, hoping that it was before the law change. So if
Correct.
the law change was after, so it's important which month of application you have done, or if you haven't applied for citizenship, Now you are carried for 10 years for the application of the passport. And if the first card is in 23, then we need to count 5 years. So in 2028, you can apply for permanent residency, exit the fund, and wait the remaining with the permanent residency. And in that time, probably you need to renew the permanent residency as well.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yes, when there is a permanent residency, the same stay rules, which is 7 days per
Per year.
year for 5 years. Okay, and we have Elif's question. Waiting 9 months after the Golden Visa residency renewal applications. What are the updates to speed up? I don't think there is any speed up thing, but how long does it take the renewals at the moment?
At the moment, but it depends on the Home Office that the renewal was done. So, for example, if it was done in Madeira office and for our clients with Catarina, we are receiving cards from end of September, beginning of October 25. So this is the Madeira office. For the Lisbon office, it can take around 12 months, 1 year.
Okay. Okay. So maybe this is not regarding the fund or anything, but I would ask this question from Stephen. I have read about a class action type lawsuit that has been or may be filed against the Portuguese government for this entire residency citizenship process. Can you make any comments on this? Are you aware of it? And maybe you can explain if it's a class action or what does it mean? And if these type of legal challenges will push the government to have more clear, simplify, or anything good news for these investors who have invested actually more than 5 years.
Yes. Catarina, do you want to reply to this one?
I can reply. So yes, we've heard about this class action. We've actually accompanied, I would say, two groups, mainly two groups of different consortiums or whatever you want to call of law firms that are considering this. As far as I understand, at this point in time, if you were to join one of these actions, the primary object would be to obtain compensation. That's the objective of this legal action. But at the end of the day, having accompanied both of these both of these two different groups that are considering these options, the other thing that they want to do is to create enough noise that would push the government to change the current situation. Now, at the end of the day, if that is going to happen or not, no one knows. I mean, from a political perspective, it's difficult to know. At the end of the day, the more people join, the better. The more noise it creates. It's up for the clients to decide at the end of the day. And they could also, claim damages.
Okay.
And for our clients that here in this webinar, if anyone wants to be put in contact with any of these two groups, we can put you in contact with them.
Does applying for a golden visa card or permanent residency card without yet receiving the card fulfill the having residency requirements for the citizenship application, as they also take long times?
Let me see. Or without yes. Yes, yes, it fulfills. Once you submit, either you do a renewal or you apply for permanent residency, one of the documents that you will receive from IMA is a receipt. And that receipt replaces the residency card until you receive the physical one. So if you applied and haven't received the physical card, you have the IMA receipt that will do the same for this purpose of maintaining a legal residence in Portugal.
I get cut off in the middle, but I think you have answered,
Yes.
Sarah, so it should be okay. That's good. So I think, because we were planning 1 hour, so hopefully we have covered the most of the things, and this was specifically informing the participants about the fund duration and all of these. And you can always get in touch with your law firms, and probably you are seeing your clients here as well.
Yes.
So they can directly get in touch for your inputs. But what I can say that we will be, I think, in my view, again, we will extend the fund for 2 years, and the ones who wants to exit should participate the General Assembly that will be informed by links, and it will take place minimum 20 days later, so it will fall into August or September. If you want to exit the fund, you should participate that General Assembly to inform about your request of exit for us to give us enough time to have the liquidity and to be able to make this exit in June 27. Right, Diogo? He
Yes,
needs to support me.
exactly. So after the extraordinary general assembly, where you will vote on the extension or not, um, 1 month after that, within 1 month after that voting, you should manifest via email or any contact with us your wish to exit the fund.
Okay. Sarah, Katarina, thank you so much for your time,
Thank
as
you.
usual. We have recorded this webinar, and we will be sharing that. And I think we can have a text again to summarize with the help of AI, of course. So that not only the participants of the webinar, but also whole investors in Nest can have the inputs. And we are always reachable for answering the questions as much as we can. But this is much better to be able to answer, wider audience, let's say, rather than one by one. And hope to see you soon. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
very much.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.